Germany made international headlines this week over a proposal to partially ban the wearing of face veils in certain areas. The proposed ban targets burqas and niqabs that are being worn in schools, universities, and while driving. The garments are worn by some women of Muslim faith, and the proposal is just the latest in a series of similar calls throughout Europe. With me now from Washington, foreign affairs reporter for The Washington Post, Adam Taylor. Okay, Adam, I'm curious what sparked the call by German leaders to ban face veils like the burqa and the niqab in these particular areas.
Well, I think one thing we have to bear in mind is that this is the latest in sort of a series of different attempts to ban the burqa, both sort of nationally in France and Belgium and regionally in places like Switzerland and Italy. One of the reasons I think we're seeing this is because there's been such a large amount of refugees and migrants coming from mostly Muslim majority nations over recent years. And I think that we're seeing sort of a backlash here, and that's sort of pushing people towards these bans.
And it's my understanding, Adam, that this is being pushed by Germany's Conservative Party. Why now specifically?
Well, and one thing you really have to think about in Germany is, for one thing, it's been the recipient of something like over 1 million asylum seekers last year. So that really is a big influx. And for a long time, there was no terror attacks in Germany. Last month, there were 2 that have been linked to both the Islamic State and the asylum seekers. And I think that has really changed the debate in Germany. On top of that, we have regional elections next month, and next year there will be federal elections for the Bundestag. So there's a lot of sort of electioneering happening here.
And you've written previous articles at the Washington Post in the past talking about how there's actually relatively few women in Germany who wear veils. Why are they doing this if that's the case? Yeah,
I mean, when I was looking into this, I had looked into a lot of sort of German press reports. We asked the Interior Ministry whether they had any data on how many women wore niqabs and burqas. They did not. The German tabloid newspaper, The Bild, also tried to investigate this, couldn't find many reports of burqas being worn, many reports of niqabs being worn either. Some people say there actually may not be any German Muslims who actually wear burqas. There probably is a few hundred who wear niqabs. And that does leave the question, why is this happening? Why would you ban something that so few people wear? It's a hard one to answer. On some level it could be a symbolic move. On another level you could say just because few people wear it doesn't mean it's compatible with German society. There's a lot of different ways of looking at it.
We know that France has actually had similar legislation passed, and just this week there was a third French town that passed a ban on burkinis. That's a full body swimsuit that's worn by certain Muslim women. Why are these garments also being targeted? Are there lots of women wearing burkinis?
I'm not totally sure how many women are wearing burkinis. It definitely is more widespread than burqas or niqabs. In France, actually banned the full face veil, both the niqab and the burqa, in 2011. And this sort of seems to be a sort of continuation of that. What's intriguing to me about the burkini is that it actually, it originated in Australia. The woman who created it, who was a Lebanese immigrant to Australia, she sees it as actually a way of integrating Muslim women and other women who want to remain modest into sort of Australian beach culture, surfing and being lifeguards and things like that. What we're seeing now in France does seem to be sort of a reaction. It does seem to be a step further than the full face veil bans, which perhaps could be justified by sort of security concerns or concerns about isolation of these women. I think it's a little harder to make those arguments in terms of the bikini.
Okay, it's a fascinating report, Adam. Thank you very much. Foreign affairs reporter for The Washington Post, Adam Taylor. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.